Yeah, but I think Andrew, it's fun and it's also instructive to to remember the history of racing and the characters from the past, because there's a lot of institutional knowledge that has been built up over the years, and their legacies and dynasties, and
100%.
we can all learn from it by honoring some of those legends of the past, and it actually adds to the richness, the tapestry of racing. So not to be
Most definitely.
forgotten. Look, I mean, the game in some ways has eroded. In other ways, it's advanced. So, it just depends how you look at things.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Coastal Boys. Welcome, Mark VDV. A bit of a reputation to uphold, 150 to 1 plus double last week. Sure. Big
Chalk it,
boost to fill this week.
chalk it up. I don't know if I can sustain that. Obviously, happy to land those long price winners. I mean, those are the ones that help to generate profits, but they're not easy to find. So just celebrate when it all connects.
Then the arrows went in just for good measure as well.
Very
And
good. No,
that's what we do.
well played.
We just try and keep people informed and updated and try and lead them in the right direction.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
Great weekend for sport. A few people must have been bored out of their minds yesterday as there was no soccer match. Considering we've had 1 or 2 matches for the last 30 days, 4 matches left. And someone will be crowned a champion.
Yeah, it's weird how ultimately the form book has worked out at the soccer, and the big guns pretty much are the ones still in contention. Some of the dark horses got close, and supporters may be crying into their beer because there were some very controversial calls and tight decisions. But when all is said and done, you've got the big teams in the semis.
It's what's on the scoreboard. I mean, I don't know if FIFA or VAR helped a few times, but I mean, there were some mighty close calls. I mean, but that's soccer. What can you do? I mean, I felt sorry for the Swiss guy. I mean, that ultimately changed the picture of the match. I mean, they were just getting the upper hand from an aging, I think, Argentina. I mean, but Messi and his compatriots.
Do you know what FIFA stands for, Andrew? This is a little bit cheeky, but I'm sure the boys can stomach it. Fix it for Argentina.
Yeah, it's about right. I think there's a few teams that'll agree with you, especially Egypt.
Yeah. Lots of aggrieved parties, but you got to take the rough with the smooth. That's the nature of sport, and making excuses and blaming officials is ultimately not cool, and it's not helpful either.
100%. Well done, the Springboks, a clean sweep. I think first time ever. They've beaten every nation, including the Barbarians, in a calendar year. First time it's ever been done. Not even by the great New Zealand teams. I think we play more matches now. But it's still a massive achievement. And they look like an awesome side. It was a wonderful match. I mean, when you go to a sports match, you want to see goals, tries, runs, whatever. And I think it had it all. They had this. The Springboks were a bit under pressure, or a bit under druk, as they would say, but they put it together at the end and pulled away. So let's box on and try and find a few winners.
Yes.
We start at the beginning. Race number 1. It is the Durbanville Welcomes You Maiden Juvenile Plate. Over 1,600 meters. The betting is 16 to 10 Royal Light. Warrior Destiny in from 5 to 2 into 18 to 10. 18 to 10 You Made Me Look. 10 to 1 Moonshine Bay. And properly write your own ticket. The rest. For me, not a deep race. The most important part of this race is the inclusion of blinkers on number 4, Warrior of Destiny. Now sports blinkers. And straight in, that's my first pick. Pete Buerta, I know he's had a bit of a torrid time. He has 57% of the field, so he's brought the numbers for this race. Cornet rides. I like to run behind Uncle Sam last time. Just didn't get home. I know it's 1,600. And I think with the blinkers added, I think this horse is a massive, massive runner. And I wasn't sold on You Made Me Look, Justin Snaith, champion jockey Craig Zaki on board. Respiratory Noise I've read both times. Might have to have a wind up or a tongue tie or something added to stop that. And the favourite at the moment, Royal Light, written by Richard Furry again for Justin Snaith, was 2 lengths behind us on the last run against Uncle Sam. Also up there, 1 pace, his second last run behind Bachata when he got slightly interfered. I think he'll be in the trifectas. And I think the main danger for me is the horse carrying 53 kilos, Glencotson Moonshine Bay. The apprentice claims 4 and she gets 3 kilo filly allowance. So she'll be carrying 53 kilos against 60. She ran against the older horses last time and was 6 lengths behind Kisses. Also hit the rail that day, and I think she's got a chance. I'd be taking Swingers, Moonshine Bay, and Warrior Destiny. And Warrior Destiny, my main bet in the race.
Andrew, yeah, look, it's not a mighty field, this by any means. I think, Royal Light, who seems to be improving at each start, that, that's got the right profile. That he was a bit 1 pace behind Uncle Sam at its last start. Warrior of Destiny, I do concur, will be very dangerous, racing from the front and with the blinkers on. That's the way to go about things at Durbanville when the track is running quickly. Big query about You Made Me Look with those respiratory noises. I don't really trust horses that have breathing issues when the pressure's on. That's often when they start gasping. And yeah, Moonshine Bay, you could maybe dismiss it as cheap speed, shows pace and stops, but now it gets the claim 4 happy, and that may help it just to keep freewheeling for a little bit longer. So those are the 4 primary contenders in the opener.
Yeah, the only worry for me would be that they cut each other's throat as they're both front runners. I mean, if the apprentice goes too hard, Cornet sits in second and produces, because if they go hell for leather, the two of them will set it up for something that closes. And we're now good Richard and Craig Sackhill with the pace, just sending off the pace and pouncing at the right time.
Yeah,
let's move on to race number 2. We have Apprentice Maiden Plate over 1,400 meters. The betting is Le Concierge 15-10, 3-1 Rhythm King, 3-1 Letizier, 5-1 Fractal, 10-1 Rumba Russi, and write your own ticket the rest.
Yeah, look, what's interesting here is that there's a 2-year age gap between some of the major contenders. Rhythm King is a 4-year-old with solemn form. Remember my 10-race rule for maidens, though, so by rights I should be kicking him into touch straight away, having its 12th start. But he's capable enough and he goes well-handed. He's got a low draw, so that's in his favor. Then Le Concierge is 2 years younger, improved after rest and gelding, so he's got to go into all of the main plays. Leticia, 25-1 at that second start when running on behind Diamond Baron. That was on soft ground. Fractal, I'm not quite sure what to make of it, Andrew. A good debut, then was laid off, and then a poor comeback after being supported. Bit of a mystery, of course, number 7, Fractal. Again, I can't say I'm hugely inspired to put any of these up as betting propositions, but 2, 3, 6, and 7 would be the contenders.
Found another horse to put into the mix.
Please reveal.
I shall. Just add Cosmic Dan, well bred, the non-platina gelded already as a 2-year-old. Must be being naughty at home. He did say Justin Staith will need the run. There were no positive vibes coming from him and in the betting market. Rhythm King, I'm going to take your rule into context here. I mean, as Bubble should do on board, he's some decent enough runs there, but he's only placed twice from 5 starts at the course. I want to give that a bit of a switch. Concierge being a 2-year-old, but 2 more weeks and he'll be a 3-year-old. Does carry 52 kilos and moved up well last time over 1,200. If he stays, I think a big runner. The roughie that I found it up, just been nagging at the back of my head. The stable that's in form, Rumba Russi. I mean, I like the form lines of both these runs. 3 winners from the first start, 2 winners from the last start. I know he was beaten 8 lengths and 11 lengths he gets the apprentice Bongani on board, comes in with a low weight, and I think for me, back end of quartets and trifectas, and even could run closer. And I think the horse they probably all have to beat. I'm going to forgive his last run. I mean, there was chunks of money for him, Fractal, coming off the long rest. I mean, he ran 20 lengths behind Witch Hazel, which has turned out a decent form line as well. And Witch Hazel's quite smart. Has Apprentice Pelé on board. I'm just going to forgive its last run. I mean, that Touch by the Angel form line was quite strong. And I think this horse probably does need a slight step up in trip. As they would say, showed pace, faded late, tired in the computer form for that one last time. And Letitia, Mark Jacobson, the champion apprentice to be, he's riding very, very well in all the centres actually. And the negative there is that Andrew Stein hasn't had a winner for ages. So I think not getting massively involved. The two that I like are Fractal and Rumbarusi for back end of quartets and trifectas.
An interesting find there that you've made quite a strong case for that horse. Interesting.
Yeah, I just one of the just to find. We move on to race 3, the Turf Club C Stakes over 1,000 meters sprint. The betting is 22 to 10 Palace Gift, 28 to 10 Black Erica, 4 to 1 She's Chosen, 6 to 1 Williams Woman and Ruby Rex, 7 to 1 Moody Blue, 16 to 1 Major Apollo. I find this quite a tough race, Marcus. Went through it back and forward, back and forward. I wasn't sold on the favourite, Palace Gift. I know fortune factor. He won well on this horse beating Rattlesnake, but he's carrying 63 kilos. I just noticed the stat. Andrew hasn't had a winner in 30 rides. So, I mean, he's not in the greatest of form. He's coming back from a bit of a layoff himself.
Yeah.
Couldn't be taking a short price Palace Gift, but must have a chance. 2, Black Erica, this filly ridden by JP van der Merwe for the Marcus yard, for Adam Marcus. Won a Class 4 beating Worldcraft last time. Actually got bumped and still came back to win. So that was a decent enough run. Not a horse that I've been a fan of. I mean, can win, but not for me. 2 that I've put in my tote and my play would be number 1, Williams Woman, again for the Michelle Richard. Bungani on board carrying 52. Has had a win and a third over course and distance, 50% at the track. Got all the form, and I thought there was a decent enough run behind Troy Septut last time, and he got stuck at the 400 meters when he was coming through a gap. He was just didn't get the clear run that he needed. So I think a better run there. And the other one, I know it's a maiden, but Craig Jackie's chosen to ride this for the Adam Marcus horse stable. Ruby Rex is fully drawn 4. Another one that's had 1 run at the course for a second over course and distance. And I think I did like that run last time behind beating Miss Smiley. Went to the front, uncomplicated. There was big money that day as well. Started as 40 to 10 favourite, being backed in from 5 to 2. And I think any improvement from her, she's only had 6 runs as a 4-year-old. So, I mean, she did start late, and I think she's just getting her career back on track.
Yeah.
Any pearls of wisdom from your side?
No, great conviction here, Andrew. There's one that might wake up, Moody Blue. Poor last couple of starts, but whenever Richard Ferry rides for Mike Stewart, they mean business. And I set my speed figure par here in the high 8s, and Moody Blue does meet that on its best form. So maybe that's one to throw into exotics. Williams Woman, you mentioned, she's got a speed figure of 87, so she qualifies. Course and distance winner drawn low. Black Erica, very steady credentials at this level. Ruby Rex tends to hang a bit. It might not be harshly treated by the handicapper, but will need to boost its speed figures based on what she's shown thus far. She's chosen is a progressive gimme, the green light juvenile. So that's got plenty of upside. On the speed figures, Palace Gift has a big advantage because she's run in the mid 90s at best. That is a big mass that he now has to carry. Interesting stat that you unveiled there about the Candyman going a bit cold, because usually he's a very high percentage rider, and he's obviously got a big following, but that's priced into the market. going purely on the speed figs, Palace Gift would be the top choice, but does come with a few queries and question marks. At the sort of race where guys who are getting involved in the picks, I think, probably need to lob in a few.
Yeah. Caveat. Sorry, a few caveats with him. Moody Blue has a solid form at the track as well. 6 runs,
Yeah,
win in 4 places. So, and with Richard Free on board, the jockey struck. I mean, he did have the apprentice on board last time. You had
yes,
Mr. Pike, he's a run before. So, I mean,
that
and
could be a wake up horse. Absolutely.
now he's quite a big price as well. I think he's about 7 to 1 probably. He has shorted from 10 to 1 into 7 to 1, so someone has seen something. We move on to race number 4. It is Lucky Fish Diamond Rise, Sea Stakes. We double the trip now to 2,000 meters. Trip to Camelot, 2 to 1 in from 5 to 2. Back in the fast lane, 7 to 2. 4 to 1 Chance Encounter. 5 to 1 Ballsy Rossi. 6 to 1 Fort Liam. 7 to 1 Phantom Man. 20 to 1 Noble Euro.
Andrew, I guided as ever by my speed figures, and I match it up with the finishing fractions and pace analysis, and Chance Encounter comes out very well. I know has just won the 1 start. That is a slight concern, also stretching out to a longer distance. But based on its running style, I think Andre Nel is doing absolutely the right thing to push it out over 2,000. And I was very impressed with that last run. That was a really good try to get as close as he did in what I see as a deeper field than this one. And if it turns out that the 2000 elicits a bit of improvement, he already has highly competitive figures, then anything around 4 to 1, that the anti-post price or better, would be worth a bet as far as I'm concerned. Phantom Man may set the pace. That's the stable mate. Fort Leon, though, actually holds Phantom Man on earlier form, but could be outfinished, I think, by Chance Encounter. To me, the danger is back in the fast lane, who's done nicely. It doesn't matter, with blinkers or without blinkers, should make another bold effort. Trip to Camelot's got to improve on its speed figures, but does have a nice turn of foot, poised on a hat trick. Ballsy Rossi, form ties in closely with Trip to Camelot. Just a strange one that the guys may want to lob in or use in the lower slots of single race exotics is Noble Hero, who loves this venue and is handicapped a decent chance on back form. Very unreliable, but he might be able to totter into the frame. But for me, Chance Encounter, he's hit some really promising figures that suggest to me that he can win several races. He gets his opportunity to prove it in the 4th.
Okay, I mean, that's one of your best bets.
Yeah.
They did run together, the one that you just spoke about now, bottom of the boards. Noble Hero actually beat Chance Encounter. Noble
Yes.
Hero went up 2 kilograms on the 11th of February, and you've actually gone up further. You've gone up 4.5 kilos. So on paper, the bottom of the boards, number 7, Noble Hero, does actually hold the one you fancy. But as we know, they run on grass and not on paper.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do think it has an upward trajectory, even though Chance Encounters, as the 3-year-olds, had quite a few runs, had 11 runs
Yeah.
for a win and 8 places. So ultra consistent as well.
Yeah.
I wasn't sold on Phantom Man, unless Andrew goes to the front and tries to slow it down and tries to steal it. I thought the main danger to yours, if there's a main danger, let's hope yours wrongs, would be number 3, Fort Liam for the Greg Enion yard.
Mm.
Blinkers, I mean, decent runs behind Tunguska, Wailaya, Yomoini. Also, beat Phantom Man, hold Phantom Man quite comfortably.
Yep.
And I see a run quite a while back last year in September. He ran behind Gold Guboski, one of the boom horses of the Cape season. So
Yeah.
So I think if we look past your horse, I think it's quite a trappy race. And my first pick would just be Fort Liam, half a squeak to back in the fast lane. I think has improved leaps and bounds with the blinkers. Was a sold on Trip to Camelot at 2 to 1, even though it looks like an upward trajectory. I think 60 kilos for a 3-year-old of a 2000 is quite a lot of weight to carry but he seems to have improved every time, and let's hopefully yours can romp. Chancing
Fingers
counts.
crossed, but
What can we say? To race number 5, Racecourse Incentives, powered by Hollywood Bets D Stakes. The betting is Foliant 4-1, 4-1 Double Dash, 4-1 Beer with the Boys, 5-1 Glen Almond, 6-1 Master Coiner, 6-1 Heavenly Prince, 7-1 To the Moon and Back, Right Your Own Ticket. The rest, Lancia and Sansa Stark. I mean, which one does Des McLaughlin want to win? He has he has 50, just under 50% of the runners in the race. I think it's a trappy race once a trainer has so many horses in the race, and we're not sure what pace he's going to set. The one that I'm against is Glen Almond. I mean, just won an open maiden. That's I can't have with stolen money. 3 that I've fallen, I thought Beer with the Boys, Gavin Lavina rides, comes from Stallgate 1. The negative is that he's never won at the track. I mean, and he's held on the Gold Index form line by a few horses. It's Foliant. Not sure. Had 35 starts for a win in 8 places. I think he's done his winning. Master Coiner also just won an open maiden, even though his form before that did look like he would win a race, but he's held by Glen Almond. Glen Almond beat him. The 2 that I've fallen on, number 5, To the Moon and Back, even though well held on the Gold Index run, he has Richard Ferry on board now. Another hasn't done that well at the track, 33% of places while there. And I thought the other one, I do give half a squeak to number 7, Double Dash, Craig Zaki on board. He is the leading contender from that Gold Index form line. Another one has won twice from the start, acted course in 3 places. The one that I would be focusing the most on is number 8, Heavenly Prince, from Ghani on board. Did have a big weight, 63, but guess 2.5 kilos. Now has won at the track, has won over course and distance, beat back in the fast lane. We see how that progresses in the race before, but a very trappy race. And my 2 would be Richard Free's horse, To the Moon and Back, and Heavenly Prince in a very, very trappy race. Unless maybe you have some pearls of wisdom that I've missed, or you can tell us.
no, Andrew, I'm with you. As far as To the Moon and Back is concerned, in one of my written previews, I actually went for To the Moon and Back, and the secret to this horse is doesn't like the mud. So if the surface is firm, he's a much, much better horse. And Richard Ferry knows how to ride him. He takes quite he's a reluctant sort of customer. So he needs a strong ride. So Ferry's done well on him in the past. He's much better on firm ground. And on his figures, this is exactly the sort of race that he's entitled to win off his current marks. I was on the verge of putting him up as an each way proposition. I would advise the followers just to see how the track is playing come Tuesday afternoon, and if it is a firm surface, then To the Moon and Back would crack the nod. I mean, look, it's a weak lineup. I think I noted here 162 runs between them for 14 victories. So there's some real money burners and chronic losers in this lineup. Here with the boys, that's the Woodruff team. They've been on the tear lately. At 12 Philant for me is just a pace factor. I don't see him winning. Glen Almond, I'm also against. Double Dash, I think, is a live runner. Quite consistent racing, handy, and I think that will get into the fray. And then I'd also agree with you that Heavenly Prince is due a bold effort again, and on its best speed figures is entitled to be in the mix. But maybe a spec bet, certainly at 7-8-1 or better, about To the Moon and Back. If he gets his ground, that could be the one to get the job done.
Yeah, trappy race, really trappy race. And let's analysed it and summarised it and found the winner.
Yeah.
We move on to race 6, Turf Talk Syndicate B Stakes over 1,250 metres. The betting is Give It Laldi 22-10, slightly supported from 5-2. Object the Art 3-1, 6-1 Churchillian, 7-1 Spirit, 7-1 8-1 I think bet your wife must have called you that a few times. 8-1 She's Got Class, 16-1 Ignite the Fire, and 25-1 Oliver.
Well, I was very interested to see what you've put up here mentioning Oliver, and I'd like to hear your take on it. The one thing I noted about him, he's yet to miss a plot racing at Durbanville. I think he's had 10 starts, 3 wins, 1 second, 4 thirds, and 2 fourths. So for him to be languishing at the bottom of the boards as a no hope. It doesn't make sense to me, but I prefer the stable companion. I think Object Art is potentially a well above average sprinter. I like the way he races. He has a go. He's got a good turn of foot. I think he was very unlucky not to run down Give It Lordy last time. And the at the weights, and also considering those finishing fractions, I would expect Object Art to beat Give It Loudly. However, he is disadvantaged by the draw, whereas Give It Loudly will have all the favors from the inside. You can maybe go through it in more detail, Andrew, but there was just one dark horse which I think the followers should be alerted to, and that's Churchillian. He's been below best in 2026, albeit with some legitimate excuses. And if you go back to his runs towards the end of last year, it would not surprise me in the least if he were to pop up in a race of this nature. So those are the horses that I would focus on. Objet d'Art against Give It Loudly and Churchillian. And then my backups would be Oliver, that I made mention of, and also She's Got Class, who is quite tough to overhaul when she gets her way racing. Handy. I know she's had some breathing issues. The tongue tie goes on, but she's run some really nice races down the stiffer Kenilworth 1200. And if she gets away with some softer fractions, she could be, she could be dangerous. That's how I see the sixth.
Interesting, firstly, to see that Richard Fury hasn't got a ride in the race and Gavin Arena's riding for the Woodruff Yard on Give It Laldy. I mean, that's been one of they've met each other a few times, Give It Laldy and number 8 Object Art from the Marcus Yard. And there's a lot of runners that are very close by on the Object Art form lines. I mean, so they could turn it around any time they like. And I just thought at 25-1, I mean, this horse loves Durbanville. My mate told me I'm absolutely mental. I could back it with him. I just ran a length behind Gallic Dream. And now, I mean, just off them behind Give It Laldy, getting 3 kilograms. Then they stepped it up to 1,400 meters behind Chasing the Rainbow. Back to his favourite track. He's getting a bit longer too. He's a 6-year-old. I mean, never missed a place, never missed a win at Durbanville. Course and distance is solid. 100% placed there. Let's hope we can get a 1 in front of his name. And at 25-1, I think proper value. I think Give It
Sure.
Laldy will beat Object Art. Object Art, not one of my favourites. I mean, I think the
Okay.
extra 50 meters will actually suit it. But again, we've got a bad draw. And I think another horse that you need to include in trifectas and quartets is owned by a friend of mine, Fast Train,
Mm-hmm.
owned by Brad, Robert Bloomberg and the Bortzers. Brad's,
Yes.
I think he's in Sicily at the moment, sunning himself. Seen a few pics.
Okay.
This
Cool.
horse is, they've always rated this horse very highly, and they're expecting a better run tomorrow. Sorry, Richard Farid's riding this horse. He has got a ride. He has got a ride in the race. He's riding Fast Train from JP van der Merwe. I think it's a bit of a jockey strike, tongue in cheek. And again, I mean, I think can put a massive run. I mean, the negative being for 7 and Oliver in the race. Don't forget Oliver. I think those would be my 3. Oliver, I'm backing each way. I think out of the top lot, I prefer Give It Laldy and expecting a half decent run from Fast Train.
Not a sign of madness at all that you're going for Oliver, and 25-1 is the wrong price really about that horse. So it would make sense to take advantage of that overlay. Sure.
Yeah, hopefully I found something. He can run back to his best form over the trip that he loves. Race 7, the Lucky Fish Crazy Time Apprentice Class 5, fillies and mares over 12.50. Final call 5-2. Take it as read 5-2. 4-1 Crazy Little Thing. 5-1 Scandalise, 8-1 Miss New York, 12-1 and Better the Rest. It's generally a betting medium that I do not get too involved in an apprentice race unless there really is a standout in the race. And the top two in the market, Final Call and Take It As Read. Final Call from the backyard. Been to the track 3 times for 2 places. There's Bongani on board. You have to forgive. Had blinkers on last time. Didn't seem to improve it actually, and returned short in front. So slight little niggles. I'll give it a skip. Take It As Read, pitch trained, hasn't won 419 days. Has the four-claimer Muller on board. This filly, to see her run a better race, and I'll put my money down. The one that I'm going for, and I'm going to back each way in this race, is Miss New York. Has a champion apprentice on board, Mark Jacobson, Storgate 1. I think solid runs behind South of France and Raffish Trend. Beat Easy Money over course and distance, has placed over course and distance as well. Carries 53 kilograms. And at 8-1, I think a nice each way bet. I can't really see this horse missing a place. And I think probably the main danger will be number 6, Scandalise, even though I just won a maiden, has the apprentice on board, Mossaheb, who claims 4, carrying a bit of a big weight, 57. But I did like the way. Put the last race to bed, beating Spanish World. And Unrestrained, Crazy Little Thing, consistent of late, but another trainer that's a bit cold, and there's Varanjuli on board claiming 4. I think we'll be there and thereabouts. But I think the value in the race for me is each way number 1, Miss New York.
Yeah, she's a giant mare, Andrew. She's really quite a strong muscular type, and she's slipped below her last winning mark. So she's handicapped a chance. I mean, this Class 5 is obviously a very weak field. Final Call, well-bred, what a winter filly, would have a chance if striding comfortably. Scandalise took care of subsequent winner Spanish World. That most recent meeting, I think, and you labelled it as your arrow, and it duly hit the target.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Scandalise hasn't been hammered by the handicapper by any means, so ought to be competitive. Crazy Little Thing, 12-start maiden. She'll get help from the claimer, but this is a thin field. The numbers that I marked just in card order were 1, 2, 6, and 7. But I wouldn't discourage any of the punters from casting an even wider net than that in their exotic players. But yeah, your rationale for Miss New York as an each-way tickle at 8-1, perfectly plausible.
I think she might have to change her name now. She's 6-year-old. She'd be Mrs. New York by now. I mean, you're struggling if you're that old and still a Miss in New York. Moving on. Race number 8. Bet with a tote, middle stakes of the 1,600 meters. Betting is 18-10 in a timely manner, 33-10 Soho Heartthrob, 4-1 Rockin' and Rolling, 5-1 It's My Time, 6-1 Katsu, eaten a few of those, 10-1 006, and 33-1 and Better the Rest.
One of my better bets on the card, In a Timely Manner. Really like this horse. He's related to Ina Morare, who was a prolific winner for Justin Snaith and similar connections. And I just think that this horse is really talented. He's primed now. He's had 2 runs since arrest. He's teed up to run a career top. So he's already run figures in the mid-90s, which is plenty good enough to win a middle stakes in Cape Town. And he's still got scope to run better than that. So he's had a couple of tough trips. I think last time he wasn't suited by the pace, and he was pulling hard. And hopefully there's a truer run tempo. And he's also got some decent credentials at the track. He has everything in his favor. So for me, In a Timely Manner, one of the best bets on the card. Katsu is quite well weighted if you look at some lines of form, but is arguably better at Kenilworth. Soho Heartthrob you have to respect because he ran close to In a Timely Manner in that, I think, was the blind date form line, and that was after a tardy start. So he could be the main danger. Rock and Rolling, I would give a place chance, but I hope to have made a strong enough case for in a timely manner, and hopefully, two, he can get the job done for us.
Taking you on, sir. I think your horse has every chance. But I think so a Heartthrob, third run after arrest, second run blinkers, champion jockey like Craig Zaki. Hold your horse on the last run, actually, behind the blind date form line. It does be slow away, which can be a slight negative, but hopefully the pace will be strong. I nearly put up this as one of my arrows. The only thing is that Dean Canama, I can't recall when last had a winner in Cape Town. Been a bit ice cold in Cape Town, but he's been having winners in Natal where they've been focused on in the season. I mean, you see 2 lengths behind Jan van Gooyen. What price would Jan van Gooyen be in this race? I mean, he does
Yes.
throw in some stinkers. He ran a shocker behind Tin Pan Alley, but that was over 1,400. I don't know. Then he ran a decent race behind Boogie Fight. Coming late, and then a little bit of a break. Last warm-up run behind Chasing the Rainbow, just behind yours in the same race. Then behind Blind Date last time. Just getting better, slow away, progressed nicely. A second on blinkers. And I think for me, definitely taking on your horse this race. Sorry to say.
No, that's cool. Maybe try and stun them with exactors.
Yeah. I mean, Katsu, we've spoken about. Again, one of our rules here. Don't back Edwin Muller. I mean, sorry, not one of the rules, sorry. He does ride some great races, but he does ride some stinkers as well, carrying 50. But he hasn't won for 763 days. I mean, that's a while. I mean,
Yeah, long-term loser.
yeah, I mean, of the others, actually didn't look further than the two, funny enough. Billy Bowlegs used to be a half-decent horse. He seems to have gone off. He's down with the Robbie Barrett yard. Maybe they can see some improvement. I know they think he can stay, so probably getting fitter for something else later in the season. Hopefully he comes back to his form. And rocking and rolling. I mean, just won a maiden. Then behind District Master and Marcus Aurelius does have the services of Richard Ferrier on board, carrying 54.5. For him to get down to 54.5 is quite a bit of a sweat. I mean, another one that I think will be flying late, 2 places from 2 starts at the course. But I'm certainly going for So a Heartthrob, Craig Zaki on board. And let's hope we fight it out and may the best man win.
We'll have to have an Ek and J.
Swingers, trifectas, and quartets. There we go.
That's it.
All in, Bobby, all in. We move into race number 9. Hollywood Bets Bright Future Class 4. The betting is Clark Griswold. Got a lot of money from 3 to 1 into 18 to 10. 4 to 1 Miami Summer. 6 to 1 Fort Yukon, Cedar Point, and Senior Dante. 10 to 1 and better. The rest. My arrow for the day is number 3, Miami Summer for the Justin Snaith Yard. JP Van der Merwe on board. Drawn 3. I just watched second run gelding. I just watched the way this horse ran last time. I watched the video again, and I was really impressed the way he finished last time. He runs on from off them. I think there'll be enough pace in the race, and I think the race is set up for him. I mean, there are a couple that are quite close to him. Clark Griswold, Senior Dante. The main danger, I thought, was Fort Yukon. Calamari rides for Adam Marcus, drawn 1, which is a big positive. A lot of horses have run close to each other here. I just thought this was Miami Summer, second run gelding, compromising position last time. And he looked like he just needed it. If he's fit and right, his second run after a layoff, a lot of people think that is a negative. They prefer third run. I think he's been well fancied on a couple of occasions. I mean, he came from a mile back when he ran 5th behind Senior Dante. Again, slow away. Let's hope he doesn't be too slow away this time, because it can be a big negative at Durbanville. Get boxed in, horses can come past you, and you're further back than you think. And just let's hope he doesn't get too far out of his ground. As I said, I think he's the one for me, and I think if he's progressed and trained on from his last start, I think he'll take a power of a beating. And again, the only danger for me is number 1, Fort Yukon. Yourself, Marcus, how did you see it?
Well, 2 against the field here. I was going Clark Griswold and Miami Summer. Just to buttress your argument for Miami Summer, he had some excellent form at the course in spring last year, and he was running figures in the mid-90s as a 3-year-old on my speed figure scale that made me think that he was a possible classic contender, that he might be one of Snaith's Cape Guinea's candidates, and it didn't pan out that way. But
Something must
I
have
think,
happened for him to
yeah,
have a bit of a layoff from December to June.
yeah,
Something must
yeah,
maybe knocked something.
yeah,
That's all
yeah.
I can think.
Yeah, most likely there was a setback and the reason for that layoff, but he's going to be very, very dangerous. Look, Clark Griswold, he won assertively last time. He got a nice speed figure. The come home sectional was also way better than standard for the class, and I think he's likely to run well again. A very astute purchase by the Bass family, just 26, a Horizon colt. And I think that he's going to win his share of races. So those are the two that I've gone for. There are others. People want to construct trifectas and quartets. I think Fort Yukon will run nicely. Signal Dante also should go well. Cedar Point, in fact, might have Fort Yukon's measure based on finishing fraction. So you may want to use that one underneath. And then a really daft one, just as a possible exotic tote buster, is Diamond Rock, who continues to slide lower in the ratings, and he could gate crash the frame of his current merit rating because he's got some nice course form, admittedly ancient history when he did that, but less Michaela Michelle's claim. Not impossible that one gets into the money at a big price. Loving Prague has some upside, but the wide draw is a disadvantage. So, long story short, for me, Clark Griswold against Miami Summer.
You
Maybe
know, again,
that's it. That's it. In the blue trunks, facing off. Yeah,
fair. Super heavyweight versus light middleweight. I mean, not
the,
fair, not fair. Longer reach, but weight advantage.
absolutely. I mean, sometimes if you can narrow it down to two horses, I know certain people enjoy touching and backing both, and that can reduce losing streaks, but you've got to be very sharp how you stake if you're doing it that way, and obviously the prices need to be sufficient to justify that strategy. But for guys putting together pick sixes and jackpots, sometimes being able to lock up a leg with just two runners can be advantageous. I know we're really going back into the ancient past, but one of the biggest pick sixes that I was ever involved in winning with our old mate Snowy back in. There were no bankers in that perm. Just had two horses in three of the legs, and we somehow sort of wiggled through that way, and then played wide in the other three legs and got incredibly fortuitous results for a monster dividend. So sometimes just having two horses running for you can be cool. So maybe like finishing off in a timely manner against Soho Hopthrob and Miami Summer against Clark Griswold. They might just give the guys a bit of leeway to load up earlier on and hope for something ludicrous to happen.
Yeah, because I mean, the races prior to the 8th and 9th do look quite competitive and they look quite tough, some of them. I mean, we found a few
Yeah.
horses at big prices. I mean, I agree with you. So, I mean, I know a lot of people who put two horses, they put in one of the top fancied horses and they try and find a roughie that they do like as a semi-cover.
Hmm.
That's how they play big sixes, some of them friend of mine. Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying and hope Snow is well. Yeah, no, I mean, those were the days. Upstairs at the
Yeah,
kennel,
absolutely.
Julian
Yeah,
Griff, Cyril, Luthi,
yeah,
Bruno,
yeah, yes. Wow, some
Champion,
legends there.
Rob
Yes,
Champion,
yes,
and Robbie Blue was popping. Boys, what do you think?
yeah, yeah. I mean, those guys were passionate gamblers, loved the game, very, very knowledgeable, and they just added a lot of color to the sport. There were some very strong opinions held there at times.
Percent. No drinking till 4 o'clock. We've got to concentrate, boys. I think it's some of them were dying at 3:55, waiting for their first whiskey or the first
For their
beer.
stabilizer.
Yeah, and I think a nice card we have tomorrow, and
Yes.
hopefully we've previewed it and pulled it apart as we could, and find a few winners for everybody. I think we've tried to find a bit of value. We've tried
Yeah.
to find you and I head on head 2 races, and
Yep.
may the best man win. Hopefully everybody enjoys the day. I mean, it's the country course. They used to serve great boerewors rolls there. Don't know if they still do
Yes. Yeah.
out in the
Do you
country.
remember when there used to be hedges instead of
Do
rails? I mean, that was a
I
long
do.
time ago, and the track used to ride quite differently. They have tried to make it fairer by putting a chute in and flattening the speed bumps in the straight and cambering the bend somewhat, but I still think it is a specialist track, and the horses for courses theory, I think, still holds up at Durbanville. Would you agree with that?
I do. There used to be a massive front runner bias or top
Yeah.
front end bias, but I think with the
Yeah.
track being flattened and they put in, I think, better drainage now. I don't think that is as much as it used to be. I mean, I think it still suits horses that race handier than further back because of the tight contours, and but it is always been a specialist course, and it is where some of the smaller trainers used to come to the fore in Durban. I mean, in Durban, in winter, as we used to have a bit of
Yes.
rain, and a couple of the horses are aged and needed a bit of the sting out the ground, and were course specialists. You used to sometimes get some massive results. And I used to remember where sometimes, if it had rained, they used to come to the outside of the track to spin off the corner and make a beeline, and then because more chaos, because there'd be more interference than you'd think. And I mean, it's an old national hunt course. I think they used to do jumping there and amateur races there for a long while.
Yes, the Cape Hunt and Polo Club had their clubhouse in the infield, which is still sometimes used as a venue for auctions.
Correct. I think they have a big sales there.
And many of a certain cohort of trainers built up their experience by riding in Cape Hunt meetings. You mentioned Greg Enyon, some of his horses running at Durbanville, and that's where he developed a lot of experience and cultivated his skills as a horseman from those amateur days in the Cape Hunt and Polo Club.
I mean, even Justin Snaith's father, Chris, I think he also used
Yeah,
to ride there. I mean, he
yes,
was him and his wife, I believe.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they've been horse people forever. I mean, crazy.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Wow,
I know
wow.
what's more worrying that we can remember or our age that we can remember these things and they're that long ago.
Yeah, yeah. But I think Andrew, it's fun, and it's also instructive to to remember the history of racing and the characters from the past, because there's a lot of institutional knowledge that has been built up over the years, and their legacies and dynasties. We can all learn from it by by honoring some of those legends of the past, and it actually adds to the richness, the tapestry of racing. So not to be forgotten. Look, I mean, the game in some ways has eroded, in other ways it's advanced. So it just depends how you look at things.
And with today's modern technology, I
Yes.
think there's more information out there. It's never been a better time for gamblers in the world. I mean, there's so much information. You can glean so much nowadays from reading and watching and listening. I mean, we are never always going to be correct, but maybe we can just pass on a little snippet of information that you might not have thought of, which might just change the way you think sometimes. I mean, some people think third run after rest is best, something second run, something a blinker strike, and the old adage from 10, 15 years ago, an Elamite strike. That is a horse. Elamite strike would
Didn't
mean
strike.
a horse runs. A gin strike would have new shoes, would be aluminium shoes instead of steel shoes. Very famously in Joburg and Durban, they used to watch for every certain trainers when they used to come with a gin strike, and it would just take the cash. put the cash. That's I believe horses improved 10 lengths, and a lot of the times they certainly got the money.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I think the educational side of the Coastal Boys show is very important. And people don't necessarily have to agree with us, and they may ultimately come to totally different conclusions with their wagering. That's absolutely cool. But if we can just bat things around a bit and come up with new ideas that people may implement successfully, or at least just get them to reconsider some of their strategies. In that sense, from an educational point of view, it might be helpful.
Apologies if we do waffle, but we enjoy it. So we love talking racing. I know we do strive to try and keep it concise and compact, but a lot of the times we do run over and we talk a bit of waffle, and I'll go back on something that you've said and whatever. And if anybody has any questions, just put it on one of the channels that you watch, and we'll try and address it in a show that we do later on. And it's always interesting to see people's comments, be they good, be they bad. I mean, we're only trying our best, and hopefully we can point people in the right direction, which is the most important.
Yeah, I think we're having integrity is very important. I mean, we work hard, we put in a lot of research, and so I think we're coming at it from a sound basis, and we give it our best shot.
Is that your phone? Enough time now. You run over.
Whoops, there we go. Apologies.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Stay safe. Be lucky. Chat to you soon, Mark. Anything, and hopefully you stay cool. Have a nice dip in the ocean.
Yes, I need that. Good suggestion. I'm going to heed your advice. Put on the budgie smuggler. Put on the budgie smuggler and dive into the water hazard.
And stay safe, guys. And it's coming home.
All the best.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Marcus. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks again.